There has been a lot of activity in Brett Favre's lawsuit against Pat McAfee. Several of you have left comments asking what is going on in Brett Favre's defamation lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. Well, in this video, I'm going to answer that question. But before I do that, I want to quickly invite you to join my channel membership program to unlock special perks and support the channel. All you have to do is click the link in the description below. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the video. So here we have Favre's original complaint against Shannon Sharpe. Favre is accusing Sharpe, who is a retired NFL player and co-host of national weekday sports talk television show Skip and Shannon Undisputed. In September 2022, Sharpe made statements on Undisputed, falsely accusing Favre of...
The problem that I have with this situation, you got to be a sorry mofo to steal from the lowest of the low. Skip, Brett Favre is taken from the underserved. He stole money from people that really needed that money.
And he said, despite the fact that Favre had not done any of these things, Sharpe could not resist the opportunity to trade on Favre's celebrity to make headlines and gain audience by sullying Favre's reputation. The complaint goes on to state that over 130,000 people were watching that segment where he made those comments. It also states that clips from the episode of Undisputed repeating Sharpe's malicious and defamatory statements were posted to YouTube and received over 1 million views, a far greater viewership than the average clip of the show normally receives. Then on March 20th, Shannon Sharpe removed the case to federal court. So here we have Shannon Sharpe's notice of removal to federal court, and to establish federal jurisdiction over a case that was filed in state court, there must be two things under the diversity statute. First, that there is complete diversity of citizenship, meaning the plaintiff and all defendants are from different states than the one in which the case was filed, and the amount in controversy exceeds $75,000. And so here Sharpe is pointing out that Favre is a Mississippi resident, whereas he has a home in Georgia, but actually resides in California, where they film Undisputed and where he attends Lakers games and goes to sporting events in California. Moving on to paragraph 13, it states that the jurisdictional amount of $75,000 is exceeded. Sharpe goes on to point out that Favre has filed a nearly identical lawsuit in another court, state court at the time, against Pat McAfee. So clearly Sharpe and McAfee's lawyers appear to be coordinating here, or they're at least aware of each other's case. And it states that plaintiff's counsel has recently stated, that would be Favre's attorney, recently went on an interview and said that his case against McAfee is worth millions of dollars and could bankrupt McAfee.
It's going to cost Pat McAfee millions of dollars. And if it bankrupts him, then he will have learned his lesson.
Now let's take a look at the docket sheet in this case to find out what happens since Sharpe removed the case to federal court and why we have not heard anything out of this case, whereas there's been a flurry of activity out of the McAfee case. Here we have the docket sheet from Favre versus Sharpe, as you can see there. And the first thing I want to draw your attention to is that on March 22nd, that was just 2 days after Sharpe removed it to federal court, it appears that Sharpe filed an unopposed motion for extension of time to file answer to Favre's complaint on the 22nd. And then the court that same day entered an order granting the motion for extension and extending Sharpe's answer deadline to April 3rd, 2023. Well, fast forward to March 31st, 2023, and then Sharpe filed yet another motion for extension of time to file an answer to Favre's complaint, and he was asking for an extension to May 3rd, 2023. And the court, in a text order, as you can see right here, granted Sharpe's motion to extend his answer to May 3rd. So May 3rd is Sharpe's deadline for answering Favre's complaint against him. Let's take a look at Sharpe's motion for that second extension and find out why he was asking for more time to file an answer to Favre's complaint. So here we have the motion for extension of time to respond to Favre's complaint. I wanted to point out here that it looks like Favre's lawyer did not oppose this. So that leads me to believe that he will be filing an answer instead of a motion to dismiss. If Sharpe's lawyer had called Favre's lawyer up and said, hey, I'm going to need some more time to respond to your complaint, will you be willing to grant me an extension of 30 days? And the lawyer said, are you actually going to file an answer, or are you going to try to get this case dismissed out of court? If the lawyer had said, I'm going to try to dismiss it and file a motion to dismiss, I'm not sure that Favre's lawyer would have agreed to give him additional time. He probably would have said, go pound sand. You should be filing an answer, not a motion to dismiss. Your motion to dismiss is frivolous, and therefore I'm not going to condone that by granting an extension. So my assumption here is that the lawyers for Sharpe called up Favre's lawyers and said, we are going to file an answer. We're not going to seek to dismiss it. Will you, under those terms, agree not to oppose our motion for extension? And of course, that's all speculation. I don't know that any of that took place, but that would be my expectation of what happened behind the scenes here. Anyways, if we look here at the motion for extension of time that Sharpe's lawyers filed, they state that they need the extension not for a motion to dismiss necessarily. They don't say specifically what they're working on, but they say it's necessary in order to give Sharpe's recently retained counsel enough time to respond to plaintiff's complaint. And again, this might be reading too much into it, but the use of the word respond instead of answer suggests to me that, hey, they may actually be planning on filing a motion to dismiss. So anyways, that is the reason that they gave to the court. And the court, of course, granted it that same day, granted the extension, moving the answer deadline for Sharpe to May 3rd. So what will happen on May 3rd, which is Sharpe's new answer deadline? Well, he could basically do one of three things. First, he could file an answer in which he would admit or deny each of the allegations in Favre's state court complaint. Second, he could instead file a Rule 12 motion instead of an answer. That could include a Rule 12B motion to dismiss, where he's trying to get the case thrown out entirely on legal grounds. We saw McAfee do exactly that in his case. Or Sharpe could file a Rule 12E motion for more definite statement, asking Favre to clarify his allegations and arguing that Favre's allegations are too threadbare. They're too minimal. They don't give enough details for Sharpe to even admit or deny the allegations. I don't think that he's going to do that. Another motion that Sharpe could file, but I doubt that he will, would be a Rule 12F motion to strike. So I don't expect him to do that. If I had to guess, I would guess that Sharpe's lawyers will either file an answer or will file a motion to dismiss. If you don't want to miss any of my updates on this case, especially on May 3rd when Sharpe's answer deadline hits, then make sure to hit that subscribe button below and turn the bell notification icon on. And of course, as always, thank you for watching.